dripping constellation smeared with Milky Way is a velvet dress I dumped a package of silver shimmer powder on when I was 9. I cry over it just as much. Maybe like the universe, I too was making accidental art, crashing space rocks against each other to see the pretty colors they could carve into the nothing little nebula I could have called this precious mess. But unlike the universe, I've spent an awful lot of time clinging to perfection, meaning stay exactly the same. Hold on to this velvet skin and scrub mascara I am not supposed to wear dripping all over it. Stain remove the change out of this soft thing. This is how you miss the Milky Way. Perfection is just fear wearing a nice velvet dress, and I sense I am only one big mess away from creating a beautiful thing. Thank you. Hi there, Riverside. You are very far away. I don't know if you know this. I live in Spokane. I live in approximately downtown Spokane, and I'm like, this is not quite the United States. This is not quite Canada. This is Ram Nation. Yeah. Really excited. Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is a poetry slam. Yeah. The Poetry Slam is a competition invented in the 1980s in Chicago, Illinois, to trick people into coming to poetry shows, in which performed poetry is judged by 5 members of the audience. Each poet will come up here and they will have between 1 minute and 3 minutes to present their original work with a 10-second grace period. Our wonderful judges will score that poet anywhere from a 0 to a 10, evaluating such qualities as performance, content, and originality, which now have numerical values. Yeah. The high and low scores of each performance will be tossed, giving the poet their final score out of 30. Points will be deducted when poets violate the 3-minute with 10-second grace period time limit. If a poet violates that limit, my wonderful timekeeper / scorekeeper / math team will yell something like, "We have a time penalty." And together, we will all collectively say, "Forget linear time." We're gonna practice that right now. All right. Amber, pretend that we have a time penalty and yell, "We have a time penalty."
We have a time penalty.
Forget linear time. That's right. Audience, let the judges know how you feel about the job they are doing, but be respectful in your exuberance, for there could be no show without them. How about I introduce you to the judges? You're like, boo, boring. First up, we have Mark Anderson, who is the Spokane Poet Laureate from the immediate past. Just finished his reign of terror. He co-founded the iconic Broken Mic reading series. We call it an open mic, but I like reading series so much more. It sounds very grown up, which you're all invited to participate in. Mark has been writing and performing poetry in Spokane for over a decade. Next, we have Chris Barnes. Wave, Chris. Yeah, Chris. People know Chris. Chris is the longtime resident of the area and helped start the Northern Slam in 2016. She is the Deer Park Library Supervisor. Yay, libraries. Third, we have Seth Marlin. One of my nearest and dearest friends, in fact, and is a former Spokane Poetry Grand Slam champion, and is the author of Shred, a chapbook of slam poetry that is pretty freaking awesome, I have to say myself, if you want to go down to downtown Spokane and pick it up. Next, we have Danielle Milton. Danielle! Who joins the Northern Slam judging table for the very first time, but has been plenty judgmental at other poetry slams, including the Valley Slam and Titan Slam. And finally, we have Crystal Miller, yeah, who is a literary enthusiast and the Cheney Community Librarian. More librarians. In full disclosure, she committed to being a judge about 4 hours ago when we had a sudden absence, and we hope she is as excited to be here as we are to have her. Thank you. guys ready for a poetry slam? No! First, we must have a very important ritual. It is called the Calibrating Poet Ritual, in which a poet will come up and perform on the stage as if they are competing, but they are not competing. And then the judges will judge that poem as if the poet was competing, but again, they are not competing. This allows the judges to calibrate their judginess and you, the audience, to calibrate your audientosity. Just a little warm-up right now. This is not your regular run-of-the-mill poetry reading. This is akin to a poetry rock show happening way out here in the forest. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. If you hear something you like during the poem, you are welcome to react to that thing. Many people like to snap. You can snap right now. Yep. Some people rub their hands together when the poet's having a hard time or just when they're really into what's happening. You can give a little like woot woot or an amen, like whatever you're into, whatever, I don't know, gospel. Yeah. So these are all the things you can do. Please feel free to clap and cheer wildly when the poets are done. They've worked very, very hard to be here. And let's get this show on the road. On deck will be the Poetry Slam. But coming up all the way to the mic right now, let's welcome up our calibrating poet for the evening, Nate Baldwin.
We've all heard the sayings that tell us to keep our chins up and our backs straight. But what happens when we can't? What happens when we are broken, beaten, and on the brink? When we can't stand up and fight any longer? When we are just tired of trying? There's been a seed planted in our skulls by society deep down so it's near impossible to get out. That we have to be strong and brave. You know what? No, I'm tired. Tired of trying to fit in and appease to society. I'm done wearing my mask. The very mask I've carefully crafted over my short life. The mask I've worn my whole life. Let me hang it on my door and leave it. Let me leave it out to dry, for it is soaked in foolish tears. Let me out and enjoy who I am and not have to hide it anymore. You know what? I have a challenge for each and every one of you. That challenge is to leave your mask in the dust and come out of your husk and be you, because it doesn't matter what anyone else wants to do. Stand up and join me, and let's change the norms of society instead of letting society's norms try to change us. Just please, leave your mask in the dust and join me in this newfound freedom. Stage left.
Well, the judges are calibrating their feelings. Just a couple of notes. Poets, there are two mics on the stage. There is this one, which is attached to this mic stand. To move this mic stand up and down, you just squeeze this and it'll move up and down. Really easy, no twisting, just a grip, just a strong grip. And then there is one more microphone that is sitting on that mic stand. We do have a couple of teams here tonight, so just wanted to let you guys know. Also, poets are not allowed to use props, instruments, or pre-recorded music, but they can use their voices in any way they like. So I don't know what you might hear, but you might hear something special. All right, judges, this is the longest time I'm going to give you to judge your feelings. And then when I say the phrase 3, 2, 1, put them up, that phrase is concrete. It is final. You must put them up at that point. 3, 2, 1, put them up. Let's practice. Yeah, thank you, judges. From low to high, we have a 7.3. We have feelings. We have a 7.7. We have an 8.6. Dramatically higher, an 8.7, and an 8.8, and a variety of feelings. Excellent. Thank you. While our amazing math team is doing some math, I'm going to read you all the names of the poets in the order that they will be reading. Since it doesn't look like we have any repeats of first names, I'm just going to refer to you by your first names because a lot of you have complicated last names. So, the order in which you will hear the poets tonight, first you're going to hear from Emma and Mallory, then Max, and then Kira, and then Peyton, then Madison. Yeah. Just keep cheering the whole time. That's fine. Then Naomi, and then Olivia. Oh, we have an Olivia Snyder, and then Olivia Gleaton. I did catch that. You guys will hear your last names. No one else will. Then we have Raina. Then we have Shadrach and Zachary, another team. Then we have Rin and May and Ella, and finally, Ben. Yeah. So you'll hear from all 15 poets in the first round, then we'll do a cut, and you'll hear from only the top 7 poets in the second round. Very high stakes, very exciting. Math team, do we have a final score for that poet? We do. We have a 25.0 for our calibrating poet. Thank our calibrating poet again. Let's get ready for a poetry slam. On deck, we will have Max, but coming up all the way to the mics right now, let's have Emma and Mallory.
A is for acceptance and including others when you play.
B is for bravery. If you stand up for others, you can make a difference.
C is for create and how you can use your unique abilities to create your goals.
D is for following your dreams.
E is for your listening ears. Remember to listen to others when they talk.
F is for new friends.
F is for faltering, the loss of our efforts due to ignorant people.
G is for grow up. A push for teens to grow up faster than they want to because adults refuse to step up and be responsible.
H is for halt, how we have to put our lives on hold because people that are claiming to care about our future, but they're brainwashing and sweeping urgent issues under a rug.
I is for innocence. We are kept in a state of innocence and ignorance to mask the stench of mistakes and lies.
J is for jeopardize, how our future is being jeopardized by petty arguments rather than teaching us to work together.
K is for knowledge. People say they have knowledge, but they aren't using it for good. We're using it to put down others instead of using it to build each other up.
L is for listening, something our society isn't utilizing anymore. Our youth is trying to talk, so listen. Stop disregarding everything we're saying just because we're young.
M is for masks. We use to cover ourselves up and to create a bigger persona of ourselves and stronger to make ourselves less vulnerable.
N is for news, with all the biased news channels twisting words, stories, taking quotes without context, although they're meant to give us facts.
O is for obedient. We are expected to be obedient with the ludicrous excuses produced.
P is for plastic, not only the non-decomposing litter on our streets, but rather the plastic that many continue to fill their bodies with because they want to feel more beautiful.
Q is for quit. We are told not to quit, and yet society is pressuring us so much to be quick and click all the buttons on the screen to even be seen.
R is for responsibility, the responsibility given onto our shoulders because people don't want to take credit for their mistakes.
S is for segregation, the separation from each other's political views, and it is modeled for the new generation that we shouldn't be open to compromise.
T is for trust and how when broken, we would have to learn to not be as easily trusting.
U is for utility, and you are only important and worthy if you are useful to the ideas and standards set by certain people.
V is for vain, people who are quick to judge and slow to listen because of the uncontrollable appearance of another.
W is for weary, the irrelevant arguments our leaders partake in because their egos are more important than millions of people's lives at stake.
X is for anaglossy, the ongoing fear of people not understanding our words because of the refusal to have all ears and take our ideas into consideration.
Y is for years. You will never know how many years you have left, so why do you fill them with assiduous works that grind your gears?
Z is for Zen, the privilege we are no longer given.
Keep it going for those poets. The Northern Slam is organized by staff from the Deer Park Library and Spokane County Library District. Tonight, you will find them on the math team. Recognizing that math isn't their best skill, they have been able to create what can only be described as a magical Excel score sheet. So really, it's their computers doing the math, librarians at their best. Yes. Not sponsored by Apple. All right, judges, 3, 2, 1, put them up. All right, from low to high, we have a 7.1. Yeah, mean judge, boo Seth Marlin. We have an 8.1. We have an 8.5. We have an 8.7 and an 8.9. Give it up for that poet. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Math team is doing some math. Math team has the math. All right, final score for that poet is a 25.3. 25.3 for the poet. Clap for that poet. Those poets, I clearly have a set script in my head that I just rattle off. All right, on deck, we will have Kira, but coming up all the way to the mic right now, let's welcome up Max.
This is a poem called Judgments and Justifications. There's a nation that's divided, good or evil, left or right, where hatred oft short-sighted leads to backtalk, leads to fights. But these sides have more in common than their hatred will admit. For while they're burning down their straw men, they each stop to throw a fit. They keep complaining and insisting they're correct. They've never gained the understanding of what we would all suspect. That neither person's point of view can justify their acts. These people's judgments are misused. They say much and have no facts. But my judgments are justified. I judge all with humility. Judgments aren't wrong when codified. Rhyme and meter means civility. For I am a poet without a care, to whom I judge or why. Nobody can touch a hair where my hypocrisy lies. I do not shout for fear of ramifications. I do not say things to your face. All of my judgments and my justifications are things that I create. But a poet's job isn't nearly done until he can judge himself. No, a poet's job has not begun until his own self he can help. So I read my poems intently, and I find a typo or two. And I see that I could be more friendly to those most like me and you. I see judgments that we are hiding, and I scoff at the very thought. I go home and write a poem, and see there's more that I can be taught. Thank you.
I had to go grab my phone during that poem because it's counting steps for me and this dress has no pockets. All the girls in here know. All right, judges, I see some feelings turned into numbers. 3, 2, 1, put them up. From low to high, we have an 8.2. We have an 8.5. We have an 8.9. We have a 9.1 and a 9.3. Clapping for the poet, clapping for some math. Math team has it going. Math team has a score for me. Score for that poet is a 26.5. 26.5. On deck, we will have Peyton coming up all the way to the mic right now. Let's give it up for Kira.
2 a.m. is for the poets who can't sleep, their mind too fast for their body and soul, a heart made of glass shattered because it's old. But shattered isn't broken, shattered isn't forever. Shattered can be glued all back together. You just put new pieces here and there and bam, you're better. It's 3 a.m. now and I'm still awake. My hands are shaking and my voice aching with the words that I always wanted to cry out. But the only things I can take out of my mind that won't scare my mom are what I have on these papers. Because my pain is forever. That's what I was born to believe. That's what I will believe until the very day I die. And my death scares me. An hour flashes by and it's 4 a.m. I'm sorry if I'm scattered. I'm sorry if I stutter. And I'm sorry if I can't seem to control myself. Because my mind is no longer in control. The darkness in my mind has gained control in these early hours of the day where I'm still awake. Sleep is my foreign cousin whom I don't understand, so I lie smiling into the dark, rich eyes of my sleep until I can't handle it anymore. And then the lights come on, and I am told to get dressed, get ready, because your day is not ending. We like to watch you sit there in silence while all your friends are smiling, and all that you can do seems faked. Because you have lost who you are, you have lost what you want, and you have lost yourself. The scars on your palms from your hands, from holding on too tight to nothing, are now oozing with want and need and a desire to be free. But you can't have it, because nothing stays the same except this longing for sleep. Your dull eyes, tired mind, and bags only described as endless rainbows of purples and blues and colors of sorrow. You want to go away. No, you need to go away, because your foreign cousin was taken from you by this monster that even pills won't shake away. He is the only thing that stays the same, an endless routine of disappointment that your life has gotten used to. But you're still here. You have people who still care. You have a brother who looks up to you, and one that looks down to you. People need you here, and that's all you need.
I got like 3,500 steps during the Valley Slam. I'm gonna see if I can break it tonight. All right, that's my goal for this slam. Other than enjoying poems, get my workout in. All right, judges, 3, 2, 1, put them up. From low to high, we have an 8.0. We have an 8.5. We have an 8.6. We have an 8.7. And we have a 9.4. Clap for that, poet. Yeah. Just double checking. Madison, are you here? Madison the poet, are you here? Yeah, Madison is here. That's great. Let's all clap because everyone's here. Yeah. Math team, what was the score for that poet? That poet got a score of 25.8. 25.8 for that poet. On deck will be Madison, coming up all the way to the mic right now. Let's give it up for Peyton!
Hi, my name is Peyton Green, and my poem is titled Cowboys Don't Cry. Sometimes I wish I was a cowboy. I want the denim and the boots and the fringe. I want a horse and a gun on my hip. I want a stone-cold brow and a silent gaze. I want to ride into town and take, to stand and let my wranglers hang out to dry while I convince you I am a good man. I will take up the company of a local. We'll drink barrel-aged whiskey by a fire and shoot anything that moves. I'll tell him that I am a Casanova, and of all of my conquests, thinly veiled lies to soften the tension. I want to be a cowboy so I can repress any feelings and be seen as stoic. I'll be an example of Hemingway's perfect man, a strong jaw and an even stronger spine, grace under pressure and a caged bird to call mine. I want to be a cowboy so I can leave the destruction as a hero. I want to ride off into the sunset and be immortalized in song. I want to be a cowboy so I would have a reason to feel like this. Loneliness will be part of my character and not a byproduct of it. I want to be a cowboy so I can die by the age of 25. I will stand off with love at high noon, but I will not draw first. My cause of death will be a bullet hole, but all of the ladies in the saloon will beg to differ. They will spin stories of unrequited love and heartbreak, a ring on the right hand and a scar. I want to be a cowboy. I want to be there when the smoke clears. I want to be a cowboy, but I have found I have shed too many tears. I want to love you like a cowboy, that being not at all. And I wish I was a cowboy, but I wish I had you most of all. Thank you.
Hashtag Ram Nation. All right, judges, 3, 2, 1, put them up. From low to high, we have an 8.9. We have an 8.9. We have a 9.0. We have a 9.1. And we have a 9.5. I'm getting excited about numbers too. I'm not allowed to have any opinions on the numbers, but you guys are, and I like your opinions so far. Math team has given us a final score. That poet got a 27.0. On deck is Tara, but coming up all the way to the mic right now, give it up for Madison.
Today my words will cut you like new sharpened knives when I speak. My lips will spew poison that steams on contact. My words will gouge you open, bleed you dry, and my breath will blow away the dust that is left behind. Today my eyes will stare daggers that will pierce your soul and let all your sins leak out through your toes and color you forever red, not to hurt you, but instead to protect the vulnerable, the tender of heart from you. Because yesterday, my gaze was tired, my blades dull, and that sorrow sharpened me so I might not feel like that again. If I cannot trust, if I prove to be wiser than those who aim only to hurt, there will be no room for deception. Today, I am a hurricane, full of broken homes and corpses, shattered glass and bones, ragged stones and uprooted trees throwing themselves around within me. My anger today must destroy. It craves the sound of ripping pages. It breathes out clouds of chlorine gas that I have no choice but to breathe in, because today I am famine, out of forgiveness. I am drought, dry of kindness. I am truths left for lives, and I am love left unspoken. Because today I am made of deadly things. And tomorrow, after the dust has settled, when water runs once more through scars carved like channels into the earth, when sideways homes have been righted, I will be made of things that heal. My smile can be the sunshine through early morning floral curtains to wake creatures that sleep gently. My heart can be open yet full, like the warmth of a hello hug without the pain of saying goodbye. I can be light where darkness dwells, and I can be joy within the heartache of falling in love. But for now, I am the acid from batteries seeping into the cracks of old remotes. My thoughts are pandemics that kill everything frantically without remorse. They are viruses that only know how to multiply. My words are paper cuts with lasting pain, because today I am made of deadly things.
Thank you, Madison. Thank you, everyone. And the judges are writing down their feelings. They are calculating their feelings into numbers. 3, 2, 1, put them up, judges. From low to high, we have an 8.3. Ooh, we have another 8.3. We have an 8.7. We have a 9.2. And we have a 9.3. just like shouts and screams. It's really good. I'm really into this. Math team, do you have a score for that poet? Final score for that poet is a 26.7. On deck, what? 26.2. Boo host. New host. We'll just have Amber come up here. We'll just have the math team host. Just cut out the middleman entirely. They're like, please, God, no. Public speaking. All right. On deck, we will have Naomi coming up all the way to the mic right now. Give it up for Tara.
Blank, a missing piece, a puzzle of thousands of words, yet I cannot think of the one I need to describe that thing. Everyone gets those bursts of, what is that again? What did I need to do? My lacuna is difficult to fill, as words are not my forte, especially in the most known language, English. Every day I sit and stare at the board, wondering, what in the world is she trying to have us do? My classmates don't know either, but hey, at least they can tell me the words, even if I still don't have the slightest clue. Like being abducted by aliens trying to teach me their language while they speak it, if that makes sense. Basically, English sucks, and I don't appreciate it. I'd rather understand the language used around me than understand the gossip I come across every once in a while. ¿Escuchaste lo que le pasó a Rosa? Or in English, did you hear what happened to Rosa? I get invested into the story. They don't suspect a thing until I accidentally switch to Spanish. They look at me, then each other. Likewise, I don't know what happened. I did not expect that. Neither did my parents, siblings, friends, even my doctors. My condition is the clue strange yet marvelous, a freak of nature. Yeah, I know, people have told me that all the time. I search for anything, just to see if there's anyone else to find the closest thing coming across a language disability caused by a stroke. Nice. I feel safe and normal. Never had a stroke, just born, raised with a speech and comprehensive deficit, because both moderate to severe, because I don't go halfway. No, sir, I go for the record and everything. Forgetting English? Yeah, I'm the president of the company. I don't mean to brag, but one time I forgot the word carpet, turned and said fuzzy floor. Still get teased about it too. People call me an enigma, of which I strongly agree. The study of forgetting a word, it'll be called lethologica. Sounds scientific and complex enough, at least to me. Probably should consult a native speaker. I am one, but I'm awfully bad at it. Keep in mind that every time I try to explain who and what I am, people tease me for confusing the words and mixing up the sounds used to separate conventional and conversation. I don't work like that. Trying to understand how strange and marvelous English truly is for the ones who cannot speak it.
I would just like to say, fuzzy floor makes so much more sense. Carpet makes it sound like it's in a car, and it's not. I'm infuriated. That's the word I'm looking for. All right, judges. 3, 2, 1, put them up. From low to high, we have an 8.1. We have 3 8.4s. And we have an 8.6. Give it up for that poet. The Friends of the Deer Park Library are the sponsors of the Northern Slam. They bought the great stickers for tonight's poets and provide cash for the prizes. Do we have any friends of the Spokane County Library in the audience? Do you want to wave your hand if you're a friend? Friends! Hello, friends! Thank you so much for all that you do. Math team, do we have a score for that poet? That poet got a 25.2. It's just very dark over there. That's the problem. There's no light above you. That is the issue. That might. Nope. No, but still just as dark. Yeah. You can also just yell out the number to me, and then I will yell it to the audience. That is totally fine. Give it one more round of applause for that poet. That poet did a great job. On deck will be Olivia Snyder, first of the Olivias, but coming up all the way to the mic right now, give it up for Naomi.
Life is like a dance with Far too many sachets and pliés. I can't keep up. The most common of counts is 4. Count 1, be a good student and don't complain. Easy enough. Count 2, get a high-paying job and make something of yourself. Count 3, get married and become 1. Count 4, use up your life for the world and pass away in your sleep. This is so basic and simple, yet I can't seem to do any of it right. My life has been more than 4 counts, but I'll condense it for your entertainment. 1, fly like a bird through school, but fall apart as soon as I step in the car. Perfection becoming a thing that hits me like a nail whenever I make a small mistake. 2, get a job that consists of creepy old whistlers and shrewd commenters, reducing me down to nothing more than an object. 3, my love life has been nothing but a soap opera, consisting of liars, users, and cheating buffoons, resulting in me eating ice cream and watching cartoons. 4, I have lost all fear of death. That if I died right now, I wouldn't care. I've become so close to death, it is like a friend. Most would be terrified of their end. But it is no more than a speck of dust. So put on your tights, your tutus, and dance with me to these 4 counts. At least then we won't be alone during this performance.
If I'd remembered that I would be running this much, I may not have worn a skirt. All right, judges have numbers. 3, 2, 1, put them up, judges. From low to high, we have an 8.8. 8.5. Darn it. 8.5. Boo, host. Then we have a 9.0. Then a 9.1. Then a 9.5. And then a 9.7. Give it up for that poet. Math team, do we have a score for that poet? Math team is deliberating. I will tell you. Thank you to the teaching staff at Lakeside, Mount Spokane, and our hosting high school, Riverside, for all their work with the students on the stage tonight. A lot goes into the show before they ever get here. If you're staff at the school, would you like waggle your hands around maybe? None of them are here. I represent the staff. Clap for me. Math team, do we have a score for that poet? We have a 27.6. Hey, the phone line worked. Yeah, that's great. We're figuring it out as we go along here. All right. On deck will be the second of the 2 Olivias, Olivia Gleaton. But coming up all the way to the mic right now, give it up for Olivia Snyder. All the way to the mic.
Years ago, it was common practice to know by heart poetry. I assure you, it's not ancient history. Just in the last century, the world has made a change. The issue is when some can't view its range. Space in your brain occupied by meter, occupied by rhyme. This is our time. A good melody is our paradigm. The chorus more recognized than the verse. Tunes hummed sometimes in the faces of those that called us dumb, that called us fakers. But we are the music makers. We are the singers of songs. Music helping every individual fit in and belong. Finding an itch for creativity to fit into your niche. Whether this be in society or having to deal with reality, music and poetry lets us go with the flow, maybe bopping our heads the way we know fits best to the beat, or not even caring about any of the heat because we can dance like no one is watching. Because the dance sometimes only matters when people are judging, but why would they? People just wasting every day to tell you that you're not great, only to spread their hate. There is no reason to worry about some few. The others won't even look up at you. We are each too busy marching to the beat of our own drum, letting our empowered noise out louder than those the static is coming from. Decades past have started to prepare this new generation to care, not just to go along with the ride, but to follow with our own vibe and tackle the future to make sure there's a sense of adventure. This shining through our music, through our poetry. Because with rhyme, this time we know how to use it. Just because not everyone memorizes poetry doesn't mean it's a lost luxury. It's just now the blanks of our memory are filled with song. And just like poetry, there actually our legacies will be long.
Thank you, thank you. We're halfway through the first round, guys. Yeah. Just a reminder of the stakes of this show. After the first round, we will cut the list down to the top 7 poets. Those top 7 poets also get to compete at the Valley versus Northern Grand Slam. That's gonna happen in downtown Spokane at the Magic Lantern Theater. I will tell you more about that later. 3, 2, 1, put them up, judges. From low to high, we have an 8.2. Another 8.2, an 8.3, an 8.5, and an 8.9. Yeah. Numbers. Math team, have you made math? We have a 25.0 for that poet. Clap for that poet. On deck will be Raina, but kicking off the second half of the first round, let's welcome up Olivia Gleaton.
A force of nature. It all felt wrong, so I stepped out, I unzipped this body and stepped out. The cool grass snaked between my toes, and I ran, with no constraints, nothing holding me back. I felt the cool wind flutter around my shoulders, pick up my hair, and take me along with it. I watched the birds fly past me, and I didn't even wonder how it felt like to be like them. I sat on the hill to watch the sunset, and it was filled with colors I've never seen before. After the sun left, I talked to the moon. I told her my deepest fears, and she listened, and then we danced in the starlight to the sound of crickets and rustling leaves until I was breathless. In the morning, I waded in the creek while the water lapped at my ankles, and the minnows told me stories of every life I've ever lived before. The squirrels laughed at me when I climbed the trees and felt the branches sway with me until I finally reached the top. So I sat there, feeling the sun kiss me. Everything was bliss. So I kissed the sun goodbye and I walked back, away from the minnows and squirrels, away from the crickets and birds. I climbed back inside my body again and I thanked her for staying. I don't need to be a force of nature. This is where I belong.
I don't know if it... That was so much harder than I promised it looked. It looked like I've never done a push-up in my life. I promise I've done at least one push-up in my life. All right, judges, 3, 2, 1, put them up. Oh, betrayal. Okay, from low to high, we have an 8.5, an 8.5, an 8.7, an 8.7, and an 8.9. Give it up for that poet. I see so many people just shaking their heads. If it's not a 10, it's nothing. Come on, judges, do your jobs. Just kidding, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you for volunteering to do this. I really appreciate it. Math team, do we have a score for that poet? We have a 25.9 for that poet. Give it up for that poet. On deck will be our second team of the evening, Shadrach and Zachary. But coming up all the way to the mic right now, give it up for Raina.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. When I was young, I shattered a stained glass window and left the space between your chapel and the outside world. Since then, I've been under quarantine, my faith in your creed under scrutiny, because to question is to sin. I've grown up hearing your gospel in the static of some broken TV. The newscaster repeats the scripture: eat less, buy more, stay quiet, stay on your toes, and keep on watching, keep on changing, because you are never enough. And in the white noise, the broadcast continues: keep watching, folks, because only sinners break the rules, and we don't associate ourselves with that kind of degeneracy. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned, 7 deadly to be exact, committed blasphemy to your society, taken on idolatry to convict me of heresy. This here is all you need, gluttony. I never bought into the ballerina teas peddled to me by your stick-thin saints, the ones who tell me not to eat when I am hungry. Greed. I dare desire more than you can offer. Social safety isn't enough, as I am too greedy, and I have the audacity to want to be happy. Sloth. I stopped working so hard towards being the spitting image of your fantasy. Consequently, I stopped to smell the flowers. Pride. When I figured out I didn't have to be a cog in a machine, I held my head higher, comfortable in individuality. But rejecting your conformity means that I'm no longer changing. Lust. I have a soft spot for kind-eyed boys and girls with pretty hair, and no matter how pure my wants may be, their existence in itself is dirty envy. When I broke the hole in the window, I started to look outside the chapel, and I saw the unsaved life of the broken and the damned, and it really didn't look too bad. Wrath. I've come to terms with the fact that my soul is being stripped away, and to say the least, I'm upset. And I wait on the eve of my excommunication due to my lack of indoctrination, because now that I'm good enough for me, I'm not good enough for you. I stopped singing hymns because they stopped working. I stopped purging communion, blood of Kendall, body of Kylie. I am not what some church wants me to be anymore. But now that the Kool-Aid has left my system, I'm becoming a scorned heretic, and I do not regret it. Forgive me, Father, for I am tired. Forgive me, Father, for I am done. Forgive me, Father, for I am no one's creation but my own. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned, and forgive me, Father, for I am not sorry. Let us pray.
Where in the greater Deer Park, Chattaroy area do I go to get myself some thigh-high platform shoes? Inquiring minds want to know. If this were a shoe slam, 30, easy 30 for the shoe slam. Yep, all right, judges, 3, 2, 1, put them up. Scores for the poem are as follows: 9.0, 9.1, 9.2, 9.4, and a 9.7. On deck, we will have Rin. But coming up all the way to the mic right now, give it up for our second team of the evening, Shadrach and Zachary. Final score for the poet. I forgot to do my job. I was so excited about shoes. I'm so sorry. Final score for that poet was a 27.7? 27.7. Try this again. On deck will be Rin. Coming up all the way to the mic right now, our second team of the evening, Shadrach and Zachary.
Oh, well, I gotta stand. Problems. The devil went down to Shrek's swamp. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind, he was way behind, he was willing to make a deal. When he came across a young green man chopping onions and cooking them hot, the devil jumped up on a cypress stump and said, "Boy, let me tell you what. I guess you didn't know it, but I'm an onion grower too. And if you care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. Now you grow a pretty good onion, son, but give the devil his due. I'll bet an onion of gold against your soul, 'cause I think I'm better than you." The boy said, "My name's Shrek, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet, and you're gonna regret, 'cause I'm the best there's ever been. Shrek, get your miracle grow and make them onions go, 'cause hell's broke loose in your swamp, and the devil runs the show. And if you win, you get this shiny onion made of gold, and if you lose, the devil gets your soul." The devil went and grabbed his hoe and said, "I'll start this show." And fire flew from his fingertips and he made them onions grow. And he dragged the hoe across the ground, it made an evil hiss, and a band of demons pushed the onions from the ground. It went something like this. When the devil finished, Shrek said, "You grow pretty good onions, son, but sit down on that stump and let me show you how it's done." Shrek went to the godmother and started his brew. Ran back to the swamp and the onions grew. Donkey in a bread pan picking out dough. Godmother, did your push work? I think so. The devil bowed his head because he knew that he'd been beat, and he laid that golden onion down at Shrek's feet. Devil, just come on back if you ever want to try again. I done told you once, you son of a gun, I'm the best there's ever been. And Shrek went to the godmother and started his brew. He ran back to the swamp and the onions grew. Donkey in a bread pan picking out dough. Godmother, did your push work? I think so. Little out of me.
Hashtag Ram Nation. Judges are having so many feelings. They're having so many feelings. They're turning those feelings into numbers. Oh, someone erased a number. Someone put another number. It's the same number. 3, 2, 1, put them up. From low to high, we have an 8.9. We have a 9.3. A 9.4. A 9.6. And our very first 10. That's some high-numbered math that the math team has to do. Like, we've never seen numbers that high. We don't know what to do with a 10. What is a 10? We've never seen one before. Oh my God. Computers crashed. Y2K. Only the millennials and older audience understood that joke. Math team has a score for us. The final score for that poet is a 28.3 for that poet. Right? 20, right? Yeah. Okay. Whew. I'm going to give us a little more. I'm just going to say a quick thing. The Friends of the Deer Park Library raise money by having book sales at Deer Park Auto Freight over the summer. Flyers with sale dates are by the door. The money they raise goes to support programming of Spokane County Library District, like poetry slams. Yes. Good, okay, we've calmed down now. You just had to follow me, making a boring announcement. That's better for the next poet. On deck, we will have May, but coming up all the way to the mic right now, give it up for Rin! All the way to the mic, all the way.
Penitentives support the eyes to let the lights in. There's no evidence of shadows, but the lights can't be drawn on. It's material, it's cheap, it's unsettling here with the possibility for light despite the logic. So maybe you shouldn't trust me when I say that the lights are real, but dropping a lit match would be a much easier scheme to latch onto. Anyway, moths are drawn to flame, or in this case, maybe it's out. So maybe if I say it's not real, it won't be. Maybe if I say the lights aren't just drawn on, they won't be. But the thing is, drawing has never been my strong suit. Because when I started drawing, my lines of distinction between things bright enough to hurt and girls who are hurt enough to seem bright to me. It wasn't meant to be poetic or aesthetic or taken lightly, and this especially isn't meant to be apathetic. Not when I start comparing you to the way I never trusted my dashboard lighter after the first time I got curious enough to care. But here we are, aren't we? 783 days and 17 lines in, and I've just stopped forgetting why we started playing matches in the first place. 1,127,521 seconds, and I've lost 4 letters and 78 names with varying degrees of distance. Moths are in fact drawn to flames, and I know this. What I don't know is how they keep getting in the room. It's not like the windows aren't closed. It's not like I still can't bring myself to close my eyes. Not like you can't see that the light isn't even there if you would just look at me hard enough. But moths are drawn to flames. But moths are drawn to flames, and matches get brighter the further you fly from the lights. I don't blame you for your misunderstanding. I can't be your flame, and you need to know how much that burns.
We only have 3 poets left of this here first round. And just infinity poets, just infinity poetry slam. The Spokane County Library District is only doing this now, which I think would be fun for them. And just to remind you, the top 7 scoring poets of tonight will be invited to perform at the Northern versus Valley Grand Slam. That will be on Monday, March 23rd, all the way down at the Magic Lantern Theater in downtown Spokane at 6:30 p.m. I'm gonna say that several more times this evening, and then I'm gonna quiz you at the end. Be prepared for that. Judges, 3, 2, 1, put them up. From low to high, we have an 8.3. Silence. We have 3 8.4s again. And we have an 8.5. Give it up for that poet. The judges are becoming a hive mind. By the end of the night, there will just be like 5 identical scores. That is my new goal for the judges tonight. All right, math team, do we have a score for that poet? Ooh, that is a much better light. Yeah, 25.2 is the score for that poet. Give it up one more time for that poet. On deck, we will have Ella, but coming up all the way to the mic right now, give it up for May! All the way to the mic, all the way.
Realistic. When I was little, I used to watch the TV and wonder. It was all so bright and beautiful. And I wanted that. I wanted to be a performer, an actor. When I was in 7th grade, I told my family I wanted to be an actor. And I was told to follow my dreams wherever they may lead. When I was in 8th grade, I said the same thing. And I was praised, told reach for the stars. I continued to dream that and say that was what I wanted, until I was a freshman. When I said I wanted to be an actor, they said pick something realistic. But what even is a realistic job? Something I could pay a mortgage with, pay the taxes with, support a family with? Why is that all on me? Most people inspire me to do it, praise me for my acting, while others want me to have a real job because they want what's best for me. And so I ask you this. When you see someone older than me, someone in their 20s or their 30s, who look tired and sad and so bored with their jobs, and someone says, wow, I wonder what went wrong. They look so unhappy. That person wanted to be a poet, or an artist, or an athlete. They could have wanted to be something amazing, but guess what? Society told them no. They told them that they had to be a slave to the desk or worker to the keyboard, that they have to spend their days as any other person and put their creativity in a locked box, hidden deep in their memory. We insist that children be creative, that they experiment with who they are, and that they have a choice. Yet when they're in their teens, we tell them that they have to be a statistic, a blimp on a radar. But not us. I refuse to be another office chair. I refuse to believe creativity is dead and hope is fake. I refuse to believe that anyone should give up their dream for a house, a mortgage, for a realistic job. There's no such thing as a perfect picture, so why do we strive for it? I'm sick of being told to be another screen, and I know I'm not the only one. So right now, in this moment, we can decide something. We can decide to listen to those who are out of time, who are stuck in their office chairs, or we can help those who want to break free. We can band together to create a fortress of solidarity and creativity for those who want to leap over the walls that society has built around them and join the band of thinkers. Because those of you who are thinking, yes, I want to be my creative self, I want to make my own decisions, and even if you want an office job, that should be your choice. It should be our choice what path we take. I am 16, and I want to be an actor, and no amount of negativity will stop that.
I can feel the grown-up artists in the room getting very defensive. Seth Marlin is like, I like my insurance job. Mark Anderson's like, I love being a barista when I'm 30 years old. It's great. Okay, I'm done making fun of my friends and my boyfriend. 3, 2, 1, put them up, judges. From low to high, we have an 8.2. Yeah, whiny barista. We have an 8.3. We have an 8.8. We have a 9.0. And we have a 9.1. The music stand had something to say. He's like, the tables are turned now. Math team, do we have a score for that poet? The score for that poet was a 26.1. Give it up for that poet. On deck, we will have our last poet of round 1, Ben. But coming up all the way to the mic right now, give it up for Ella.
Dear Dad, you've always held the umbrella over my head to keep me dry, to keep me out of the rain and the cold. But one day I decided to hold the umbrella without you. I want to keep myself dry. I am big enough and strong enough to stand on my own. At least I think I am, but I trip and I fall and I drop my umbrella. I guess I'm not quite sure how to do this yet. And you wince. Because now I can feel the rain you tried to protect me from. I can feel the cold you told me about. I shiver and gasp as that rain seeps through my clothes and infuses my body with a feeling of paralyzing ice. My teeth chatter as I struggle to scramble back to my feet, but I just slip and fall again. I find myself stuck in this pit of numbing hopelessness, and you watch. You smile. You help me get up. You say just the right words that makes it okay. You hold the umbrella over my head while I cry. You teach me how to stand. You teach me how to hold my umbrella. You teach me how to keep dry. You teach me how to fall. You teach me that it's okay to fall. You show me how to get back up. So when I'm ready to stand again, I look back at you, hoist my umbrella over my head, and I smile. I try again because that's what you've taught me. You've taught me to never just sit in the rain and cold after falling. You've taught me to get back up and hold my umbrella. And I can, because I know you'll always be there. Always teaching, always showing, always trying. Thank you.
The judges are calibrating some feelings, some very big feelings. 3, 2, 1, put them up. From low to high, we have an 8.5. Yeah, that was a good sound. We have an 8.7. We have an 8.8. We have a 9.0 and a 9.3. Give it up for that poet. Poets all got stickers tonight, purchased by the Friends of the Deer Park Library and selected from a design competition from students in the Eastern Washington University Visual Communication and Design Program. Give it up for all of that. Wow. That was great. Skirts with pockets. That's what I'm saying. That's what we need to be advocating for. Math team. One girl in the back like, yes! Math team has a score for that poet. Final score for that poet was a 26.5. Give it up for that poet. On deck, we will have the announcement of your top 7 and then also an intermission. But coming up all the way to the mic right now, give it up for your last poet of round 1, Ben Brown.
Quiet little coffee shop in the middle of the block, surrounded by trees and a fractured sidewalk. A bustling city had yet to discover the door to its softened sanctuary. The concrete outside so quick to display a lifetime of weathering, patiently age. Crystal clear window peered out of the side, capturing the world like one marvelous eye that rests at the end of a long winding drive through an emerald city skyline. When a dark blue umbrella on a drizzly afternoon stepped over the cracks on the sidewalk and soon stopped as he had happened upon this wood-framed door. It, too, centered with glass panes who bore vision into this place. The chrome-coated handle turned hardly unspoken, and the portal breathed softly on its tethers opened as the bustling city and the music it made came all rushing in, but just for a moment, till he pressed the door back to its home. Silence. Then chatter. The dull hum of conversation like an orchestra warmly filling the room. As he wove through dark-stained tables tucked under blankets of glass, these islands surrounding a mainland treasure chest, cookies with coffee and biscuits with tea sit in front of 5 Argonauts, reflections of dreams. Past a lunatic with a paintbrush and an addict with a pen, the weathered man sits undisturbed with his fingers pressed together in a line below his chin. His umbrella is now stored in the corner by the door. As he ponders the whole world folly from the weather to the war, unwelcome by time, so deep in his mind, he is whipped away from the present. Silence. Then music. Bright chords and moving words beneath the speaker's soulful static so aesthetically pristine as cobwebs threaten a black vinyl record. She turns shyly around and around, playing a song so masterfully crafted, she leads him back to the sights of right now, letting him live for a second. She spoke to him. She called him. To spread such wealth, pull the masses from their heads and enter the music instead, with a type of a melody that's only perceived when one can sit down to just listen and breathe. Her song is homegrown, 1,000 miles from Rome. While the journey can be made, it simply can't be made alone, and it will take a couple million of those seconds. So I can say what he'll be doing for the next week and a half, and potentially the month, and the weekend after that. He'll be dying for this daydream he doesn't know he'll ever have, just hoping that dying is enough at that quiet little coffee shop in the middle of the block, surrounded by trees and a fractured sidewalk, bringing to conference those old Argonauts. They will rest at a table with coffee and tea, sitting down with intent to just listen and dream. Sometimes I hate those words, to dream, because it's only ever planning to me. Thank you.
I've already done 1,800 steps. I didn't move at all today in preparation for this event. All right, judges, ready with some numbers? 3, 2, 1, put them up. From low to high, we have an 8.9. We have a 9.0, a 9.2, a 9.3, and a 9.5. Math team's gonna do their first round of math to give us that last poet's final score. Do we have a score for that poet? That poet has a 27.5 for that last poet. Give it up for that last poet. The math team is doing a little bit more math and writing down some numbers and writing down some names. I would just like to inform you that we will have an intermission after I announce the names. And during that intermission, the Ram Shack will be selling cookies for only 50 cents. My goodness, only 50 cents a cookie. That's incredible. They will also be selling beverages. All the money goes towards supporting the very brave children of Ram Nation. Yes, yes, yes. All right, we have... Before I read you these names, I need everyone in the audience, especially grown-ups, to raise their right hand. Raise your right hand. Yes, yes, yes. And repeat after me. I solemnly swear that even if my kid doesn't win, I will stay for the second half to teach my children respect and good sportsmanship. I'm really glad the judges are also agreeing to stay for the second half. It's really important. All right, I'm going to now read you the names of the poets who are going to be performing in the second round. Also will be representing Ram Nation and the general area at the Northern versus Valley Grand Slam. Let's do some drum rolls on our laps, drum rolls. In the second round, you will hear from Ben Brown, Ella, Shad and Zach, Raina, Naomi, Peyton, and finally Max. Give it up for every single poet that read. Dear 18-year-old holding on for dear something self. As I write you this letter, I am renting out space where poetry meets bravery. Right now, it's the space that chatters between your teeth, not just because it is winter and you are outside, not sure yet whose pillow will hold your head tonight, but because all your backpack holds is a pen and a razor, and you don't know which will be your weapon and who will be your victim. You don't know if it's verses or screams that claw at your throat. You just need an extra push to keep walking through the snow. You just want to know so badly if you can end up okay. Yes. But at 22, you're still just as scared. Yes, you can still feel pain this deep, even deeper. But I want you to know what the future can look like if you decide to exhale. The regret isn't a beast you ever meet because he only comes from the steps you don't take, the truths you don't tell. You might feel like life is just about surviving these disasters, but luck isn't about just spilling cold water after spilling hot coffee on your lap. Luck is the moment you realize your glass is refillable. Resilience isn't turning to stone when you could lose everything. It's bubbles that you blow on the suspension bridge, floating all the way to the water before they pop. Remember, things that float survive longer. You already know on this cold night on the other side of your mother's doorstep that honest might mean loving all the people you weren't supposed to. Some days it might mean hiding all the girl your body cannot shed because the boy inside you just gets louder. Do not run from this. It's just another moment the brave in you blossoms know. This will not be the last time your mom rejects you. No. This will not be the one time you don't forgive her. The one thing that never gets stronger are your shields. You'll gain too many muscles from tossing them down and picking them up again. You still love until there's nothing left. I know right now there's nothing left. You didn't choose this moment, But trust, you'll own everyone after like you had. Right now, you feel like you're treading water. But oh my God, can you make waves if you put down that razor and pick up that pen? If you can make it to the other side of this ocean without hatred scrawled across your wrists, I can promise you this. As the wind chills through your ribs and all that keeps you white hot is anger, you've got no idea what's coming. And it's worth sticking around for. Your story isn't over yet. Turn off poet mode. Turn on host mode. Welcome, everyone. How was your break? Woo! How did you like the first half of that slam? Yeah! We're now gonna have the second half of that slam. Couple of notes for the team of poets. The other mic is sitting right there. It is currently turned off because it was giving off feedback. So just hit the power button before you start performing, or just yell really loud. Your choice. And then the other notes, I just wanted to read you the order that the poets will go in this second round. You will hear first from Ben Brown, and then from Ella, and then from Shad and Zach, and then Raina, and then Naomi, and then Peyton, and then Max. All right. Are we ready for the second half of this slam? Yeah, we are. On deck is Ella, but coming up all the way to the mic right now, let's give it up for Ben Brown.
My neighbor's goats are eating my trees. My neighbors have goats, and they're eating my trees. You see, I don't know what it is about those prickly things, but they stand at their trunks and nibble their leaves, grasping at green needles till their green eyes turn mean. And I tell you, these trees of mine are getting terribly lean. Now, I think I should clear something up from the start. These trees that I have are just young ones, and seeing as grown trees and goats are some distance apart, these creatures I speak of are no giant beings. But they march down my driveway in fleets and phalanxes, bleating and bleeding the green to its core, armed to the teeth with their teeth and their tongues, leaving my stomach in knots and heart sore. Trimming my trees to their broken bark bases, so breached from barrages of hungry goat faces, biting them bare until frostbite sets in, beaming as pitch blood drips down their chins. I have to say, those brown billy bandits have got me pining for my previously pristine pines. They bow their boughs to their hunger like animals, feeding their famine for foliage fringe. For 4 freaking years they have fought my poor evergreens, biting and riding my mind off its hinges. Just to think that they thought that they could come to my property with poisonous vibrations rooted in catastrophe, a part of me wants to chase them all away, or take to diplomacy in a heated debate. But there is no point to any kind of physicality, no room for conversation, for the lacking the mentality, for compassion, for reason, for these basic human decencies. I could only hope into these animals. These traits are nothing but tedious tropes, simply unattainable, let alone sustainable, and as it seems, untrainable, for nobody has ever once tried. I suppose that's because they are goats. My neighbor's goats are eating my trees. I don't know who to talk to about these things. Apparently, I sit down and write weird poems, giving my problems a bit of a ring. And through this, I've learned to forgive these goats as I should, for they're dealing with hunger as anyone would. I suppose I can spare a few needles for goats, and deep in the back of my mind resides hope that as long as they leave my azaleas alone, someday we might become friends.
Meh. Is that a goat sound? Like, kinda? Thank you. The teens are so nice to me. All right, judges, I know you had a break, so you're all refreshed now, ready to go. 3, 2, 1, put them up. From low to high, we have an 8.5. You weren't sure. 8.7, an 8.9, a 9.1, and a 9.5. Woo! Now that we are in the second round of the slam, it is closer to my bedtime and it's harder for me to count. So please hold me to not making mistakes with numbers. Thank you. Math team, are we ready with some math? Math team has a number. Final score for that poet was 26.7. Give it up for that poet. On deck will be Shad and Zach coming up all the way to the mic right now. Let's give it up for Ella.
The tea kettle sits with an air of peace and quiet. No way to show the tension building within. The heat intensifies, the pressure grows. It all builds and builds and builds until the tea kettle is forced to drop its facade of calm and it screams. I am a tea kettle sitting quietly, simmering softly, the growing tension hidden by a strained smile. Ignored and unnoticed, it builds and builds and builds, but I smile. I focus on anything and everything else just so I can avoid confronting this darkness growing within myself, so I can uphold this ruse of calm I've created for myself. I have created against myself. It still builds. The anger, the despair, the regret have nowhere to go, so they stay and build. Every time they come close to the surface, I push them down harder. Every time I push, I ignore, I smile. Unknowingly increasing the tension and compression within me, and every day it gets a little harder, I get a little heavier, I smile a little wider. Everyone has a breaking point. If I just looked and confronted my darkness, I would have seen my breaking point steadily approaching, but I didn't. I looked anywhere but at my hidden tension, and so when I hit my breaking point, I hit it full force. Every drop of anger, of despair, of regret refuse to be ignored any longer. They surge to the surface. The heat intensifies. The pressure grows. It all builds and builds and builds. I can't just look the other way anymore. I snap. I am forced to see what I have done to myself. I overflow. How could I hide so much pain for so long? I boil over. I finally drop my facade of calm. I explode. I am a tea kettle, and I scream. Thank you.
I'm at 2,200 steps. I'm just gonna be running laps. Okay, judges. 3, 2, 1, put them up. From low to high, we have an 8.8. We have an 8.9. We have a 9.2. We have a 9.6. And a 9.7. Yeah. Just to remind you, every single poet that you hear from in the second round is going to be competing at the Northern versus Valley Grand Slam. That's going to be on March 23rd. It's going to be at 6:30 p.m. and it's, 6:30 p.m. and it's going to be at the Magic Lantern Theater in downtown Spokane. All right, math team, do we have a score for that poet? Final score for that poet was a 27.7. Give it up for that poet. On deck will be Raina, but coming up all the way to the mic right now, give it up for Shad and Zach!
In 1913, Henry Ford made the first factory line. He put cars in every average American's lives. He put, American lives, a new way to move that fit the American groove.
Even if the ride wasn't very smooth.
Nearly 30 years later, 1994, the Ford Tempo hit the floor. She putzed around the streets, but was destined for so much more. Nearly 30 years later, she was kind of looking like Tomater.
I'm happier than a tornado in a trailer park.
Between us, Colton, Derek, and Zach, it took us all day to get her back. We took her for a spin. She fired right up when we put them keys in. She was rolling down the road about a mile an hour faster than a toad.
We're just five rednecks with a dream. Please come support your local rally team. She throws fits like any old gal would, but we love her like any man should. The timing was out of whack, and no one thought she would make it back. It overheated on the highway, but we got it back just doing it our way. We almost got her stuck, because old logging roads are meant for trucks. Now, the old Tempo was worth it, because she cost us no bucks.
She's at my place, looking like a disgrace.
After a little love, she runs like a clock.
Never misses a beat,
just like a Glock.
Now she's running right. We got our seatbelts fastened tight. It's time for our racing careers to take flight.
We are just five rednecks with a dream. Please come support your local rally team. When she hits about 40, she gives you that cute little death wobble. Once you hit that point, you really want to lay off the throttle. The problem with it is that nothing can make you feel like when you hit the gas and you hear them tires squeal. When she throws you back in your seat, you can hear your own heartbeat. So now we're ready to race, even if we can't keep pace. And we're gonna win just to throw it in their face. We love the old Tempo. She may not be fast and probably will get past, but at least we know we will never be last.
So when you see the DT1 team and you hear a scream, just know we're out here living our dream, as dangerous as that may seem.
We are just five rednecks with a dream. Please come support your local rally team.
Hashtag Ram Nation. Judges are turning their feelings into numbers. Hurry up, Mark Anderson. All right, 3, 2, 1, put them up. All right. From low to high, we have an 8.4. We have an 8.9. Another 8.9. A 9.0. And a 9.2. Give it up for that, poets. Those poets. Sorry for making fun of you, Mark Anderson. It's just very convenient. Math team, do we have a score for those poets? All right. Score for those poets was a 26.8. Give it up for those poets. On deck will be Naomi, but coming up all the way to the mic right now, give it up again for Raina!
A woman should be beautiful, is what I was taught. Subversively, of course. No school teacher taught me poise. My mother never told me to speak softly and fairy-like. But still, I was quietly informed of an agenda. A woman should be beautiful, says the TV, but I didn't gather that from the princess cartoons that we're all so concerned about. But instead, it was that every 15 minutes, I saw an advertisement for a diet pill. Every 15 minutes, I was asked, do you want to shave off those extra pounds? Every 15 minutes, I saw women who only smiled after losing half their weight. And every 15 minutes, I was told that this was supposed to make me feel prettier. A woman should be beautiful is what my middle school self thought on the way home from the dermatologist. Picture perfect porcelain skin is the rage right now. So I'll get my new miracle cream from the pharmacy, and if it doesn't clear up my face, then I'll try a miracle pill. Afterwards, go to Nordstrom for a miracle makeover, and when I'm 18, head downtown for a miracle facelift, because the billboards along the highway said I should, if I wanted to look any good at least. A woman should be beautiful, but it's not about looks, said the internet. Looking pretty isn't everything. It's just about personality. And that means being sickly sweet and understanding. Help others, even to your own detriment. Always turn the other cheek, ignore anger, don't be shrill or opinionated. It's inconvenience, everyone hates that. Intelligence is important too, but don't be such a know-it-all. It's much better to be one-dimensional, because who needs a personality when you're just such a sweetheart? A woman should be beautiful, and I took that to heart, and I've done everything I can, but I don't feel beautiful yet, and I'm not sure what's left to fix. And I'm open for suggestions. So tell me sternly what is wrong with me, and I'll put it into poetry. I'll reword, rewrite, rethink until anything can become of it. For I despise when things are ugly, because a woman should be beautiful. For beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I beg of you to behold me as beautiful, please. I promise I'll stay so sweet that even the most justifiable anger will still be unheard of. Copy looks from the runways to accentuate the long, hard work of fad diets, and only create things that are soft and pretty to make sure my persona fits my craft. Get a nose job, just in case. Clear up my skin, curl my hair, paint my nails, sit down, shut up, and stay. Ever disappearing until the day that I die, because a woman should be beautiful.
We have rednecks, we have feminism. Ram Nation's got it all. Hashtag Ram Nation. All right, judges, 3, 2, 1, put him up. Mark Anderson again, my God. From low to high, we have an 8.8. How could you, Mark Anderson? We have an 8.9. We have a 9.0. We have a 9.2. And we have a 9.3. Give it up for that poet. Remember, every single poet performing tonight is going to get to perform at the Northern versus Valley Grand Slam at the Magic Lantern Theater in downtown Spokane on March 23rd at 6:30 p.m. But tonight, they are playing for some cash money prizes. Yeah. Math team, do we have a math? The math for that poet was a 27.1. That's not, oh, there we go. On deck, we will have Peyton, but coming up all the way to the mic right now, give it up for Naomi!
I'm afraid I might break. Just like the fine china on the top shelf, the smallest breeze might tip it over. Crash. Or is it Klain? A simple word could change everything. One word and it's chipped. One word and it's flawed. As the taste of bad strawberries coats my tongue, the worst part is it's not done. One look and it's cracked. Blood dripping from my fingertips telling me time has now become my enemy. Tick, tick, as my sanity slowly slips. Crash! It's broken now. From a simple touch, my body no longer mine, mindlessly molding my mind to accept it. Meaningless. You telling me to move on while I'm trapped in my broken body, my large room closing in and my cowardly cornered conscious curses slip out of my mouth, shattering onto the floor just like that fine china. Be careful what you say as a role model. It might cause that child's mind to tip off the shelf. Don't say you know what they've been through. You don't. Be careful. Simply bite your tongue and hold them close. Don't selfishly spell spontaneous words. Just wait for them to speak. In order for you to literally just listen to the words they say, to the simple motions they give. So hush and listen.
Thank you, math team. I appreciate the applause. Judges have made some numbers. 3, 2, 1, put them up. From low to high, we have an 8.8. We have another 8.8. First one is good, second one not so much. Sorry, Mark Anderson. We have a 9.3. We have a 9.7. Yeah, and we have a 9.8. Those are some numbers. The Friends of the Deer Park Library are the sponsors of the Northern Slam. They bought the great stickers for tonight's poets and provide the cash for the prizes. Remember, cash, prizes. All right, math team, do we have a score for that poet? The score for that poet was a 27.8. Give it up. On deck, we will have the last poet of round 2, Max. Whoa! But coming up all the way to the mic right now, let's give it up for Peyton!
Hi, my name is Peyton Green, and my poem is titled The Notebook. I think the most embarrassing thing would be if you were to read my notebook. You would be met with cliche after cliche about your eyes, how they sparkle in the sunlight, and how beautiful you look while you are looking away from me. Or maybe it would be my phone's notes app, the only people with access being me and Homeland Security, a place where love poems go to die, words being too specific to read out loud, a dead giveaway that every line is about you. After my social security number and the one with my Netflix password, you would be met with a poem titled X. It is the poem I read to you in the pouring rain, my 365 letters condensed into 3 stanzas. It is the poem that makes you love me back. It is the 10 things I hate about you, followed by 100 I couldn't live without. It is meeting you on the Empire State Building, a bloodstained button-down hung in your closet. It is my 500 days of winter, spring, and fall, a spotless mind that always goes back to you, an email from a rivaling bookstore. It is a letter sent to you without my knowledge, a summer love on the Italian countryside, a first kiss on a Ferris wheel. It is the climax to every rom-com ever produced. I think the most embarrassing thing wouldn't be if you were to read X. While my knowledge of you is unsettling, it could be seen as endearing. I think the most embarrassing thing would be if you were to read poems A through W, if you were to see that you aren't the first person to live in my notebook, to see how many diamonds I've thrown into the ocean, how many French girls I've painted with my words. I think, or maybe it would be if you were to realize that I'm not in love with you, but rather with love. The aesthetic of rolling fields and blue eyes has always been my favorite. I think the most embarrassing thing would be if I were to write Y and Z, but maybe then I would realize that love is just something made up to sell movies and that neither of us are actors. Thank you.
All right, judges, this is your second to last opportunity to do your job correctly. 3, 2, 1, put them up. From low to high, we have an 8.7. We have an 8.8. We have a 9.1. We have a 9.6. And another 9.6. All right. Math team, do we have some math for that poet? Yes. They're writing down the math. The math for that poet is a 27.5. All right. Yay, math. will be cash prizes. For everyone. Nope, just for 3 poets, sorry. But coming up, all the way to the mic, right now, your very last poet of round 2. Oh my gosh, just welcome up Max!
I wrote this poem in 15 minutes. My teachers all told me I shouldn't, and yet here I sit. Thesaurus in phalanges, dictionary in the terminal prehensile part of the upper limb in humans and other primates, pondering on what to say. Deciding whether to use a simile, like that one poem about the clouds and loneliness, or to use a metaphor about fire or ice. I think a rhyme scheme might be nice, but then I think about it twice and realize that all the lice are paying the price for all of my bribes? Okay, that didn't work. Maybe I should start to twerk. No! Man, this poetry stuff is hard. But I guess then so is life. For a person to be truly great, they have to work hard, perspire, until genius comes to them. That is how to truly be a success. I got something! That was genius! Einstein was a fool. Genius may be 99% perspiration for some people, but me? I wrote a poem in 15 minutes. It may not be spalchuked. My grammars may not be the bestest, but life was not meant to be lived perfectly. I can't go back and edit what I told my mom last week. I can't edit my grade on my chem test. So, yes, this is a poem written in 15 minutes. But the next 15 minutes of your life doesn't get edited, spell-checked, or peer-reviewed. You live every moment of your life as it comes, good or bad, correct or incorrect. And that truly is poetry.
Judges, you got one more chance. One more chance to get it right. I expect all 5 of you to have the exact same answer. 3, 2, 1, put them up. Failure, okay. From low to high, we have an 8.7. We have a 9.1. We have a 9.7. Another 9.7. And a 9.9. Math team has to do 2 rounds of math again. First round of math they're gonna do is gonna be the final score for our last poet of round 2. That math is a 28.5 for that poet. Math team is gonna do a little more math, and we're gonna get you your top 3, which are your winners of cash prizes for tonight. And let's see. I think I have disappointing news, which is that my final step count for this slam was 2,647, but I gave it my best shot. Yeah. I don't know what I did during the Valley Slam, because I was walking this entire time. I must have taken a walk earlier that day, but I did climb, I've counted 22 tiny flights of stairs. That must be a new record. And let's see, I know we have a very special guest who's going to be presenting prizes for us tonight. I have that written down somewhere. You wrote it down somewhere. It's in my band handwriting. Ree West of the Deer Park Community Library, who's the Deer Park Community Librarian, will be handing out the prizes. We have some names. Thank you. We have names. All right. Oh, great. Really great. Poets, if you hear your name called, you will come up onto the stage and you will wave like a princess. In 3rd place, winning a prize of $50 American, we have
first place, your champion of the Northern Slam 2020, winning 150 American dollars, we have Naomi Northern versus Valley Grand Slam on March 23rd at the Magic Lantern Theater at 6:30 p.m. This has been the Northern Slam 2020, and I'll see you all next time. Good